Now, we're going to pay you back for being a great audience and great fans of the show by lightening the mood a little bit. One of my favorite guys joins us right now, great friend of the show, professor at NYU University, a expert in architecture and travel, and the host of the Been There, Haven't Done That podcast. Professor Barry Goldsmith joins us right now. And Barry, he doesn't just do comedy. He's written humor for the Joan Rivers Show, Steve Ducey's NBC show, yeah, Fox and Friends Steve Ducey, even Maury Povich. And Barry is now at work on his latest book, humor culled from over 117 countries, called You Had to Be There, and give us tips on how to look at the bright side by looking at the funny side. Professor Barry, thank you for joining us, pal. How are you?
Hi, fine. Thank you for having me. And I just want to add something. Since I'm a travel guru as well, before I start telling your audience how they can find humor just about anywhere, my favorite hotel in Singapore is called Raffles. I want to contact them and see if somebody can raffle off a stay at Raffles. So I think that's the ultimate raffle. Okay, getting back.
So we'll have the raffle.
Exactly. Thank you. That's like what we'll know when things are back to normal, when there's a shortage of shortages. Thank you, John. Now, what I'd like
to be here all weekend, folks. Try the veal.
Now, what I want to do is I want the folks at home to just observe more, because observation is the way of getting humor. I was in Japan, and I noticed we went to an anti-military museum, and there was a kamikaze plane there. We had a group of dignitaries around, and I started laughing when I looked at it. People were looking at me as if I was crazy. What was in the kamikaze plane? A seatbelt. Okay?
Yeah. Let's keep these guys safe before they kill themselves.
Yeah, exactly. The same way I was with Frankie. He was in my comedy class, and we went up to the Museum of Television and Radio in New York. We took the subway, and I noticed there was an Hasidic Jew sitting there with bandaged nose. And I tried to point it out to everybody in the class, and no one would notice it. And I had to keep from laughing. And I thought to myself in my head, a Hasidic Jew with a bandaged nose getting a nose job, he probably had sinus problem, but I jumped to the plane.
Oh, haha. So, Barry, I got a knee slapper for you. When you guys went to the Museum of Television and Radio, I'm sure there was a monument to me in there.
No, but there will be. Hopefully there will be someday.
Yeah, not quite yet. Tell us a little bit about what's going on over in France. I know you're a travel expert, but you wanted to talk to us a little about the Arc de Triomphe.
Yes, the Arc de Triomphe. This is what I'm telling people to do. Notice something. Notice and observe more. Notice details. And if we have the visual, I'll show. Let's show everybody.
The Arc de Triomphe. We got it. There
we have them, Nico? Okay. Maybe we'll come back to it at the end if we have the visual. Right now, let's talk about some travel humor. How's that? Can you hear me?
Barry, hello? We see the Arc. We see the Arc de Triomphe now.
Oh, you see it? Okay. Oh, you do? Okay, thank you. The Arc de Triomphe, as you can see, is one of the most famous buildings in Paris, one of the monuments, all right? Now, when you look at, you find 4 sculpture groups. Now, when you take a close look at the sculpture group on the right-hand side facing the Champs-Élysées, what do you see? You see something that, shall we say, would be X-rated on television in America. And when you realize millions of people go by that there every week, and how many people actually look close enough to see it. And there's so much humor around. And when you travel from one country to another, or even from one city to another, I'll give you an example. I was in a revolving restaurant in Australia with a young lady who all of a sudden said, "My bag is missing." She stopped everybody. They called the police. They searched everybody. And sure enough, by the time the police were finishing, the bag came back. What she did was, on a revolving restaurant, she put it on the windowsill, which revolved and came back an hour later. So I'll give you another example. Okay, people say, "What is the first expression you should learn in a foreign language when you travel around the world?" Which I hope we'll be doing soon. Take a guess what it is, John.
Can I have a drink?
Close. It's also liquid, in deference to liquid lunch. It's wet paint. I was at Penang Airport, and the truck with the stairs came out to meet the plane. And in Malay, it had signs all over it, wet paint. Not reading Malay, let's put it this way: my new Brooks Brothers jacket is now navy.
A
My
little
blazer
wet.
is navy.
All right, Barry, we're up against it right here. You got to join us again and crack us up. That's Barry Goldsmith. I'm John Tobacco. Tomorrow, more Liquid Lunch. Same bat time, same bat channel.